Today we salute you, Mr. Budweiser head of marketing guy. Only you could take a beer and make it queer. 20 years of amazing ad campaigns, and this is where we end up.
Not gonna buy it.
What the f*** were you thinking?
What is going on, everybody? Wired here. I hope you guys are all having an excellent, wonderful, fantastical day. And since it is a day that ends in Y, you know I'm going to do two things here. One, I'm going to make another Budlight video for your viewing pleasure. And two, it is another day that is not looking too good for Bud Light. As you can see here from the stock options that they're trending down. They've gone up a little bit since the market's opening, but it's still not looking good for them. They've dropped off about $5 billion apparently. Now, I've covered this topic pretty extensively, so I'm a little bit versed in it. While Bud Light is failing, Anheuser-Busch is failing, more so should I say, the parent company of it. Miller and Coors are up about 13% about the market, respective of, what Bud Light is down, because people are switching brands. They do not want to deal with these woke identity politics inserted into our media. And although YouTube is shadow banning me at the moment, so if you could leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel so I can give you more news, because YouTube does not want me talking about this, nor any trans issues for that matter. Because whenever I bring them up, I get limited ads, limited sustainability, age restrictions, all that stuff. But like I say, I think this is a very important topic, and I'm fighting not only for the culture, I'm fighting also for my daughter, who is 7 years old and goes to school, and who I don't want to be indoctrinated into these woke ideologies. And hopefully that's preventable, and hopefully for your kids it's preventable too. Like I say, when you get older, you want to live your life, do what you want to do. I'm fine with that. I just don't think this woke ideology, this trans movement should be pushed onto children. And yes, that's a hill I'm willing to die on. But we got some news here, which again, also, it seems like it's always bad news for Anheuser-Busch at this point. Bud Light's Hangover from Hell sales figures from America's once favorite beer reveal how every region in the U.S. has turned its back since the Dylan Mulvaney tie-up, as Anheuser-Busch stock is downgraded over crisis. Who would have ever imagined that? I'm stunned. Shocked. As you can see, the West Coast here down 18%, and the West Coast, they're pretty liberal. Mountain region down 29%. Central America here 25%. Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, Louisiana down 22%. Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama down 25%. East, North, Central, which I guess is Wisconsin, Ohio, Illinois, 23.5%. Mid-Atlantic region, which is where I'm from. Hey, shout out to them. Down 19%. That's it. We got to do a little bit better with that. I know I haven't been buying any Anheuser-Busch products, but come on, Mid-Atlantic, pick it up. New England, 14%, and South Atlantic, which would be, Virginia, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia, down 25%. So as you can imagine here, this boycott is really hitting them hard, and we've seen this throughout the days. People do not like these identity politics being inserted into the products they consume. It's really that simple. I'm not a marketing executive. I don't know anything about marketing, but I can tell you that people want to just drink a product, drink a beer. People want to drink Bud Light to get a cheap buzz, to get a subpar buzz. And I can say that from experience from, going to college for 4 years. But you don't want a whole bunch of identity politics inserted into your brand. And apparently Bud Light hasn't figured that out yet. So let's get into this article a little bit. New figures reveal that Bud Light sales have plummeted in every U.S. region in the wake of its disastrous partnership with Dylan Mulvaney. What a surprise. America's flagship beer brand has been sent into a steep decline after it used the controversial trans influencer to promote the beverage. Data from the Beer Business Daily showed that sales of the U.S. numbers one brand has fallen in every region of the country. And that's very contrary to the quarterly numbers they just put out, saying that this actually hasn't really affected the brand. This is actually not a big deal. We were only down about like 1%. No, they were down way more than that. And this boycott is working. And for everybody who is protesting and boycotting this, I say thank you and keep this up, because we need to push back on this as a society. I'm all for inclusivity, but this is now a takeover. This is now people trying to take over every space there is. And like I said, I don't really like the term feminist, but I think at this point I kind of identify as a feminist, because I kind of believe what the suffragists believed back in the 1920s. You know, I'm pro women having safe spaces, their own bathrooms, their own locker rooms, their own sports teams. I am actually very pro equality. And you know what? If like I said, trans people, if any trans people are listening, I think you should have your own safe spaces too. I just don't think they should infringe on women. And I think people are tired of this crap. And I want to say, for everyone who's boycotting Bud Light, big thumbs up. Thank you to you. And we got to keep doing this across all companies. Boycott Nike. Boycott Maybelline. Because if we let this go on, it's not going to stop. Bud Light is the most effective boycott, but we got to keep going with it. It's not enough yet. Sales in the Rocky Mountain states dipped significantly, down by 29%, with the South Atlantic, West, North, Central, and East, South Central all dropping 25%. Tumbleweed Cowboy Bar in Wyoming ditched Bud Light after controversy. Sales in the East, North, Central area, which includes Michigan, Illinois, both of which have seen a backlash against the beer, were down 23.5% in the week ending April 22nd. You know, so this boycott is essentially working. It really is. Carlos Leboy, a managing director at HSBC's global beverage sector, downgraded the stock of Anheuser-Busch InBev to a hold status. It means that investors should not buy or sell shares of the company. He said that the backlash is a sign that there are deeper problems that the ABI admits, questioning if it was hiring the best people to grow the brand and engage risk. Well, obviously it wasn't, because we know from Melissa Heinerschneit, who has been let go from Bud Light or placed on a very extended leave of absence, that it definitely was not the best choice. This was definitely a miscalculated move to try to get 1% of the population while alienating about, I guess, 27% of the population. So, hey, there you go. You know, this, I don't want to go on about this. I go on about this every time, but this woke ideology is being inserted into everything we consume. And it's not so much a risk for me as a man, but for women especially. That's why I'm speaking up for it, because I think women are at the most risk for this, you know, identity politics inserting themselves into their spaces and trying to erase them. And like I said, going back to the 1920s suffragettes, they'd be appalled by this. You know, women had to fight for equal rights, and now they're being taken out of those spaces by biological men once again, which I just don't agree with. And like I said, I speak up, you know, mainly for my daughter, but also for all the women out there, because I just don't agree with this. I'm all about everyone living their truth. You live your best life. That's totally fine with me. But you don't do it to infringe on somebody else. I've always lived by the mantra, you can do anything you want in life as long as you're not hurting anybody else. But that's all I got for you today. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening this long. I really do appreciate it. And I will catch you all in the next one. Later.